this is a conservative estimate. I could see that painting going for $5 billion. The painting, I agree with this. It is exponentially more valuable than any of his other grand statements. The Blue Period, The Life of 1903, I agree. The Family of Acrobats, Saltimbanque of 1905, which is one of the most beautiful paintings in the history of humanity. It is one of the greatest paintings. It is on a Mona Lisa level. It's way better than the Women of Algiers version O, version 15. That sold for 179 million. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon is the greatest painting on American soil. And you're offering $600? If I owned that, I wouldn't sell it for $6,000. I would consider an offer above $16,000. I don't bid for you. What's number two? All right, Ray, what's number two? If Les Demoiselles d'Avignon is number one, there she is with her elbows up, dead center. What's number two? Oh, The Starry Night. That's second place at only $1 billion. That's a $5 billion painting. You know it and I know it. But what's number one? What's number one? And I'm looking for $50 bids. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Do I put my money where my mouth is? Yeah, I went to go see the study. I went to Madrid to the Reina Sofia Museum. Wait, Reina means queen. Queen Sofia Museum. It's named after her, the Queen of Spain. Yeah, I put my money where my mouth is. Go back to the art. The study, the lifetime edition. What year did Picasso pass? 1973. What year was this done? 1955. Guys, you're winning the lottery. I don't know what to say anymore. Let me give you an idea. Go to my computer. This is a Picasso poster. It's a poster. It was for the Metropolitan Museum of Art in 1983. It's a poster. It is clearly marked as a vintage poster, and nothing wrong with that. Oh, they did have a video. It's a poster. Open-end edition, usually about $5,000. It's a poster. Nothing wrong with collecting vintage posters. How much is it? I'm offering you an original watercolor. I am offering you a lifetime Picasso. Now, this was printed in 1985. Picasso died in 1973. This is not a fluke. That's $85,000 from his estate. I've got to go back to the art. I've got a lifetime. Turn on the DVR. They won't believe you in the future. Make recordings of this show. And I know I keep saying that, but okay, go to my computer. Who is Picasso's granddaughter? Marina Picasso. She is a wonderful woman. She founded an orphanage and provided free drinking water and paid for everything for an entire village. She saved hundreds of lives in Vietnam. Her legacy lives on forever. She is a charitable, decent human being. Now, she also publishes her grandfather's art. Picasso was not alive. These were published long after he died. These were published I'm offering you an original watercolor, a study for Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. Do these sell? Yeah, they sell. Why? She has the contract. She has the contract. So Picasso made these, right? Let's just pick this one. Did Picasso make this? Well, yeah, he made the image. He died in 1973. These were printed sometime after 1979. They're the Marina Picasso Estate Lithograph Collection. He died in 1973. What years was ours made? And how much is it? Oh, okay. Okay. Huh. How much? Wait, I'm not picking on Row Gallery. I know the guys at Row Gallery. Well, I met them 20 years ago. They have one of the finest reputations in the business. They were lucky to get the contract with Marina Picasso. And yes, these sell. These sell. Why? She has the contract. She has the contract. How much? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Oh. Wow. Do they sell? Yeah. People buy them. Picasso was not alive when these were printed. Picasso was not alive when those were printed. Let's go back to the certificate. And this is guaranteed authentic forever. The greatest Picasso ever made. Not the prettiest. I don't think it's the prettiest. I'll show you what I think is the prettiest. The study for the girls of Avignon, a town. Number 2, he did 2 studies. A lithograph with extensive hand coloring. That is a watercolor over the lithograph. That is a watercolor done by hand over the lithograph. Picasso did not do the watercoloring. That was done at Silvana Editorial d'Art of Milan, Italy in 1955. What year did he pass? What year was it done? Is this a reprint? It is a rare first edition. If you buy this, do not sell it for $10,000. Guys, we're getting this out of the estate. It hasn't seen the light of day in, what, 50 years, 70 years, 60 years? All right, here we go. I've got $1,300 going once. Guys, this is real. I don't know. I don't know what to say. What would you say if you were me? Oh, I did say I would show you my favorite Picasso. So I like to follow up on what I say. One moment, please. There is a Rose Period piece. You have homework this week. Go to my computer. I want everybody to study Picasso's Rose Period. It only lasted 2 years. It was when a beautiful woman brought him out of a clinical depression. You know, falling in love will help depression. There. The young acrobat on a circular ball balances the weightlifter on the marble cube. In the background is a dog, but the composition, everything about it, I think it's one of the world's perfect paintings. That is by far my favorite Picasso painting. Element, line, anatomy, composition, the sphere, the cube, youth. He's not middle-aged, but the young girl balanced against the young man, the family in the background. I think it's beautiful. You know, see, and then somebody else will come along and say, that's beautiful. It is beautiful. I didn't like that one in the beginning, but now I kind of like it. And it was made there. La Belle Le Va. And I really like that one too. Should put some pants on though. I think I'm like most people. You see a beautiful nude woman. Oh, that's beautiful, inspiring. You see a nude man. Dude, put some pants on. There, that is world class. Same boy. That is a $200 million painting. It'll never be for sale. Okay, so when we go back to Pablo Picasso, what is the first thing among the very first thing they say? Known for 2 great paintings. Among his most famous works, the first painting they mention, that predates Cubism, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, Eye of the Study, Lifetime. If you ever see one of these at $10,000, buy it. I'm looking for $20,000 to $25,000. I'm losing it. I thought we would be above 12,000.
Well, 2 weeks ago, on a Friday night 2 weeks ago, we sold a sister piece, the other study from the painting, for $7,750. This week we're at 1,700, guys. This is from the same portfolio, done the same year, hand colored as the one that sold for almost 8,000 2 weeks ago. Both were studies for the painting, the famous painting. We're stuck at 1,700. That's a pretty good. That's a fair deal, guys. And we will bid it out in 30 seconds.
It is the greatest. Now, I didn't say the prettiest. You know how I feel. Which one is, for me, the prettiest? And then I know someone else is going to say, no, the portrait he did of Jacqueline Roque is the most beautiful, and that's fine. It'd be a boring place if we all liked exactly the same. I don't think that's pretty. I think that's important. At $25,000, would you bid? Going once, going twice, make a recording. They won't believe you. I've got 4 bidders on the phone. What say you? Bid now or forever hold your peace. It's like a wedding. I really, and now we've had a lot of late bidders tonight. Please bear in mind the 7 to 10 second satellite delay. You know, it's funny. A person in Tennessee, I said, time it. I said, I'm talking to you on the phone, time it. And she said 12 seconds. I was talking to a person out in Hawaii, and it was like 1 second. I don't get it. It's like the further you're away, the quicker it is. And my theory was that on a landline, it goes through a lot of junction and routing boxes. And then on the satellite, it goes up and down at the speed of light. So I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to ask my friend Dan Remza. He's an electrical engineer. He really makes Sheldon on the Big Bang Theory look whimsical. I pride myself on getting my friend Dan to laugh at anything. You can't tell him jokes. He's like, well, obviously the construct of that is.
19. All right, fair warning, guys. We gotta go. We've only got about another hour or so before KEF comes. We gotta get that on the stage. 2.
Less than 10 cents on the dollar now. Less than 10 cents on the dollar now.
And let me give you a little advice. Let me give you a little bit of advice for the KEF show tonight, guys. If you're interested in one of these sculptures, get one tonight, because we only have the 2 that we have tonight, and that's all we have. They're experimental editions. They haven't even decided if they're going to do a regular edition yet. So, guys, if you want one of these sculptures, which I don't know why you wouldn't, they're fantastic. Take advantage of tonight, because we only had the 2 last night, we have 2 tonight, and that's all we have, and they're called experimental editions for a reason.
So edition of 1?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Okay. I want one.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you ain't getting one.
All right, guys, where we at? 21. 22.
Okay, everybody, go to my computer. You have homework. Just read this. Just go to Wikipedia. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. And I can forward you this.
24.
What is the game? What would billionaire collectors pay for? Number 1 in the world. Oh, well, in America. Sorry, it did say U.S. Number 1. Right there. And there she is, dead center. With her elbow. You have to remember the one in the frame is a study. The oil painting is the final version. And it took him over 20, it was so avant-garde, it took him over 20 years to sell it. And then after he sold it, I have to move very quickly, it languished for 20 years in the stairwell of a hotel. And that one right there, that's sold to a very lucky bidder. I would say that if you look from a historical point of view, that Picasso had maybe 5 real friends. Among his very earliest was a dear friend by the name of Georges Braque. He met him when he first arrived in Paris. And it was a good thing that George Braque was Picasso's drinking buddy, because back then they were in their 20s. They would go to the bar, and Picasso was short. He was a short guy with a big mouth, and opinionated on everything. And you fill him up with wine, and gee, I know an Italian like that. And but George Braque was 6'3", and he was a big guy, and he knew that not only was Picasso his best friend at the time, but he knew how important he was. What I admire about Georges Braque so much is that when World War I broke out, many of the avant-garde artists of his day were like the young hippies and the beatniks and the Lost Generation and all of that. Every young generation wants to stick it to the man. I'm reminded of the famous quote by Mark Twain, and I'll paraphrase. When I was 14, my father was the most ignorant man I'd ever met. By the time I was 27, I was amazed at how much he had learned. Go to my computer. Here's a photograph of Georges Braque. You can tell he is a big, broad-shouldered guy, especially back in the year 1905. Back in 1905, most men were about 5'6", 5'7". And if you read books from the 1800s, they'll say, oh, he was a giant of a man, a mighty oak that stood 6 feet tall. Well, go back to the art. George Braque volunteered for World War I, and he was in a trench when a German artillery shell landed next to him, and it punched a nice big hole in his skull. He would always walk with a limp. He talked slowly. He was a true war hero. But his place in history is secure. He helped co-invent, as a fine art form, collage. He was a painter. He was a great draftsman. He was a brilliant draftsman. He was a printmaker. He was a sculptor. But I think his most important contribution to global history is the role he played in the development of cubism. George Braque and Pablo Picasso, 1908. Yes, and I'm fully aware, I lectured at the Dali Museum, that Juan Gris, the Catalonian, Dali always said, is the true inventor of cubism. Okay. Let's just say George Braque and Picasso globalized it. I love this quote. Their respective cubist works were indistinguishable for many years. Yet the quiet nature of George Braque was partially eclipsed by the fame and notoriety of Picasso. Like I said, he was a short guy with a big mouth. I know a guy like that. Now, if you look at him historically, his earliest works are impressionistic. But then he went to a show that was led by Henri Matisse. And he saw a painting called Woman in a Green Hat. I'll show it to you. Go to my, wait. No, am I on the right page? No, it's going to take too long. All right, well, let's do it. Go to my computer. In 1905, he went to an art show that was led by Henri Matisse. And, where is it? There it is. And he saw this painting. Picasso's first comment was, you know, this Matisse, he's really onto something. And that led to Picasso looking for Matisse, not the other way around. Matisse didn't go to Picasso. Matisse was much older. Picasso was, I think, 19 when he saw this show. He said, you know, this Matisse, he's really onto something. And because of this painting, at the first fauve show, a fauve means a wild animal. All right, let's go back to the art. I need to focus. I'm sorry, I do. When I see a work of art like this that is so valuable and so rare, Folks, it's 9:30, 9:33 on a Sunday night. From here on out, that is when we put up the most valuable works of art. Post-war, offset lithography was the only game in town. Let's go to the certificate, simply called Still Life, an offset lithograph in colors on wove paper after the original. The original was painted first, and this was printed in Paris in 1950. Why? During the occupation of Paris, if you did not agree to print German propaganda, your printing presses was destroyed with hammers and dynamite, sometimes both. Printers who stood between the German army and their printing press were shot in the chest in broad daylight. And they wanted the sound to be heard throughout the neighborhoods. It was an act of terrorism. You want to beat down the civilian population. When the war was over, there were very few lithographic and or etching and or engraving printing presses. Offset lithography was the only game in town. $100. It's in a $450 frame. I don't bid for you. I'll take any bid. I'll take a $10 bid. That is going to be 20 by 25, 20 by 25, 20 by 25. The bid, of course, is up to you. I'll take a $10 bid. 20 by 25. Any bid. Once again, back to the certificate. George Braque would die in 1963. In his lifetime, first edition. $100 bid. Someday we're going to grow up and be a real art auction house. You know what? I'm glad we can bring great art to people. I will not bid for you. That is how this company was founded. I looked a man in the eye and shook his hand, and I don't change. That's that. You got to be, see, and I mentioned this earlier. I don't mind paying a regular price for something, you know, but I just saw a Versace t-shirt for $795. I'm like, just give me a fair break. Why do I have to pay $735 to advertise for you? I kind of want it, though. It said Versace. It was fancy. Oh, my favorite? Oh, I got to show you these. Yes. Yeah. Tony's right. He got me back on track. Beginning in 1909, Braque began to work closely with Pablo Picasso, who had been developing independently a similar pre-Cubist style. At that time, Picasso was influenced by Gauguin, Cézanne, African masks, and Iberian sculpture, which appear in Les Demoiselles d'Avignon, which was 5 years earlier. And Braque was interested mainly in developing Cézanne's ideas of multiple perspective. I quote, "A comparison of the works of Picasso and Braque during 1908 reveals that the effect of his encounter with Picasso was more to accelerate and intensify Braque's exploration of Cézanne's idea, rather than to divert his thinking in any essential way. Braque's essential subject matter is ordinary objects he's known practically forever. Picasso celebrates animation. Braque celebrates contemplation. Thus, the invention of Cubism was a joint effort between Picasso and Braque, and they were both living in Montmartre, in Paris. They are the style's main innovators. They met for the first time in October of 1907. And the end result is what we now know as analytic cubism. I have this book of quotes. Let me see if I can find it. You know, George Braque was the first person in history whose obituary was read live in the Louvre.
He's the only artist in history to have a permanent installation in the Louvre.
Yes, he's the only artist. It's the ceiling.
Now think about this. The Mona Lisa is not, it's permanent, but it's not permanent. You couldn't move the rocks if you wanted.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to paint over the ceiling.
I have got a lot of books. Oh, God. I know I have this quote. Where did I put it? Oh, bless his little heart. Ah, found it. Literally blowing the dust off of it. Hollywood, can we switch cameras? I'm so pleased with myself. No, I'm way over here. This book is really old. Okay. What am I doing over here? Where'd I put it? Oh, wait, it's right here. Found it. In 1952, he was commissioned to decorate a ceiling in the Louvre. It was then that Braque began his work on the bird theme, which permeated the remaining years of his life. He died in 1963. In his obituary, delivered at the Louvre in September of that year, André Malraux, the Minister of Culture, I quote, "There is a part of France's honor called Braque, because a country's honor is also made of what it gives to the world." Bravo. Bravo, Georges. A print by him sold in 1998 for $85,000. Let's go back to the art. $300. A lifetime Georges Braque from Paris. I'm going to cry. Oh, Myrtle May. I feel like my favorite quote of the entire movie called Harvey, you know, the rabbit with James Stewart. He actually gets his, James Stewart actually gets his psychiatrist to change places with him on the couch. And he goes, he just wore out a psychiatrist. And he says, "Well, what do you want?" And the psychiatrist says, "I just want to lay in a hammock and drink beer all day and have a pretty girl pet my hand and say, 'Poor, poor thing.'" And James Stewart says, "Well, how long?" He goes, 2 weeks. He goes, 2 weeks. Yeah. I think I kind of want to lay in a hammock and have somebody pet my hand and say, "Poor, poor thing." Drink beer all day. That's me. That would be me. That would be me. I'm going to pitch a fit. Hold on. I'm going to do this live. Go to my computer. Real quick. I'm killing you, I know. Prints. Advanced search. I'm going to put in offset. I know a lot of people don't collect offset art. Okay, how much did this one sell for? First one, I'll just pick this one. First one, how much did it sell for? $10,286. The estimate was $2,000 to $2,600 at Drouot Richelieu. All right, let's go back to the art. $375 going once. Going once, going twice. Sold. He was born March 6, 1475. He passed away the 18th of February, 1564. 1564. Today we call him simply Michelangelo, an Italian sculptor. He's the greatest sculptor, in my opinion, he is the greatest sculptor of all time. Rodin is second, but he was a painter, a magnificent architect, a genius, and a poet. Born in Florence, Italy, even today his work has a major influence on all Western art. He is considered the true title of the archetype, the Renaissance man. There is only one other, well, two others, Leonardo da Vinci and Raphael. But given the sheer volume of surviving correspondence, the letters, the sketches, the reminiscences, the eyewitness accounts, Giorgio Vasari, Michelangelo is one of the best documented artists before the 1700s, before the 1600s. During his lifetime, he was so extraordinary. Not only was he described as the most accomplished artist in history, in his later years he was called Il Divino, the Divine One. The two greatest carved anything, I don't care what it is. Number one, the greatest sculpture of all time is Michelangelo's David. It's in Florence, Italy, in front of the Uffizi. There were 13 bronze castings that were done with an actual rubber mold. And one of the 13 is at the John and Mabel Ringley Museum in Sarasota, Florida. A lot of people don't know that when it was first released, it was called The Giant, Il Gigante. There is another work of art that he did during a war. It was installed in the middle of the night with a team of stonemasons. There was no pageantry, there were no speeches read, a prayer was said, bottles of wine were given to the people who watched the installation. It was during a war. Because it was put up into a little alcove in the Vatican, Michelangelo was so tired he went home and slept for a couple hours, but he was so excited that it was finally finished and installed. He walked up to the Pieta where there was once an empty alcove, and he saw a group of tourists, and the woman said to the husband, "Who do you think it is by?" And he goes, "I'm pretty sure it's the work of a sculptor from Venice." Michelangelo was so upset. If you look very closely at the sash of the Virgin Mary, it is the only signed Michelangelo sculpture. It is Michelangelo, Florence. Now, if you want to learn about that, and I always, as you know, I always encourage learning about art, there is a book by Irving Stone. Go to my computer. It's called The Agony and the Ecstasy, and I think that would define his life. It's a very, very affordable book. I'm just going to click on the first, $9. If you can read this without crying, you're a tougher man than I, Gunga Din. The audiobook is 99 cents. It is one of the fine. Now, the thing about it is, it's based upon over 480 letters. 430 actual letters that Michelangelo, that he actually wrote. Let's go back to the art. So what is it? I kind of think I've seen it. I don't know, it kind of looks familiar. It is one of the greatest masterpieces in all of humanity. It is in the gallery of the Sistine Chapel ceiling. And guys, it's very hard to get bigger than that. We're looking for $25,000. Our record for one of these, lifetime. It is a lifetime Michelangelo. Go to my computer. I know I've seen the image. Why does it resonate? When you study, by the way, I'm just going to quote, it is one of the most renowned artworks of the High Renaissance. No, it is one of the most renowned artworks in the world. That is the entire image. I've already spotted it. I know exactly where it is. We see all of, in the outer ring, the outer arches, they're little windows, like at the very bottom of the page. That is called the ancestors of Jesus. Now, the main, along the central, is scenes from the book of Genesis. God divides light from the darkness, separating the waters, the creation of Adam, all of that. And then we have the prophets, the prophet Daniel, the prophet Joel, Daniel in the lion's den. We have Ezekiel, we have the prophet Isaiah. By the way, yes, Norman Rockwell did use that for a young lady named Rosie the Riveter, but that's another story. And then we have the Sibyls. What's a Sibyl? A Sibyl is a pagan. They lived, they died before the birth of Christ. Yet they foretold the birth of Christ. The Oracle of Delphi named him by name. Yeah, knew his name. There's the Oracle of Delphi. And then we go to the pendentives, which are the corners, and then the ancestors of Christ. Now, here's what's weird about this. It's the only part where the names don't line up perfectly. I'll give you an example. Aminadab, 2 people, 1 name. It happened. Sorry about that. Adjust my computer. 3 names, 2 adults, and 3 babies. So there are many. Okay, here we go. 2 adults, one infant, and 2 names. So, and sometimes it'll be 2 male names. Anyhow, it doesn't always line up. And there are many theories about this. I have the one on the right, the woman spinning thread. And there it is. Hosea. I think it is beautiful. Our record on this show is 12,000. It's a lifetime Michelangelo. This was commissioned by the Pope. There is no 800 here. There is no 8,000 here. This is a lifetime Michelangelo. Let's go back to the cert. I want to emphasize over and over and over and over. Michelangelo, Ludovico Simonetti, Buonarroti saw this. There was a woman seated with a child from the series of studies of the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. It is from the series called The Ancestors of Christ. You can also call it the Tree of Jesse. It is in the Barsh catalog. It is in the Bellini catalog. This original engraving is printed in a black ink on a fine laid paper. The engraver was Adamo Sculturi from the design of Michelangelo. This was commissioned by the Pope. Signed on the plate by the engraver, Michelangelo did sculpture. He did painting. He never made an engraving. First date, first printing, conceived between the years 1508 and 1512 by Michelangelo for the design of the Sistine Chapel ceiling in Rome. The plate, the copper plate, executed by Adamo Sculturi, possibly 24 years, but no later than 14 years before the death of Michelangelo. It is extremely rare. It is not rare, it is extremely rare.
I think most 500-year-old items are extremely rare.
Michelangelo saw this. If you read the book called The Agony and the Ecstasy, he was a loud, argumentative Italian who is a little bit paranoid. There is a scene where the Pope enters the Sistine Chapel. All the preliminary drawings are on fire in a pile in the center of the chapel. The Pope himself runs over, and all of his assistants, these monks, run over and start stamping on it. He goes, I don't want anybody to copy my designs. I don't want them to see my creative process. Only a handful survive. Go to my computer. I'm looking for $25,000. And I think that's low. How many lifetime Michelangelos have you ever seen outside of a museum? It's in a $900 frame. How big?
18 by 19.
18 by 19, 18 by 19. Go back to the art. Yeah, in the last 500 years, it's gone from Italy to Paris to Peachtree Corners in Atlanta.
Yeah, who knows what this thing's been in the last 500 years.
Yeah. How many wars did it survive?
Oh, since the 1600s?
Yeah. I mean, how many wars in Italy? I mean, you look at the Duke of Milan, so forth.
Italy was still halfway conquered by the Moors at this time.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't that Italian guy Hannibal go through the Alps at this time?
Carthage.
Yeah. Go to my computer. Wow. And we are getting what we talked about earlier, the moire effect. Let's go back to the art. You know, You know who commissioned this engraving? Go to my computer. Pope Sixtus IV. There he is. He called upon Michelangelo to make engravings of the Sistine Chapel ceiling. And Michelangelo said, why? Number one, to share the stories of the Bible. Number two, to make a pilgrimage to Rome. These were instrumental. These were sent to convents, nunneries. They were sent to universities like Harvard and Yale, Cambridge. There is the Pope's, the cross keys. That is the keys of St. Peter and the Pope's mitre. There he is right there, Pope Sixtus IV. And there is the dome of St. Peter's. When Michelangelo retired, he was called out of retirement at the age of 70. They wanted him to finish the dome of St. Peter's Basilica. It was this Pope, because of this man, this image is here in Atlanta. Please read about Pope Sixtus IV, Francesco della Rovere. He will go down in history as the patron of the arts. He brought together the group of artists that ushered the early Renaissance into Rome with the first new masterpieces of the city's new artistic age. Oh, and his papacy was not without controversy. Let's just say that. All right, let's go back to the art. Please remember, this is the man who sculpted David, and he sculpted La Pieta, the two greatest carved anythings on the planet. I wouldn't sell this for $25,000, but I don't own it. I am the auctioneer. I do not own this. Go to my computer. This is one of the rare engravings that show the Sistine Chapel before the painting.
25.
He went to Michelangelo and said, paint this. Now, do you see all those windows? Okay, look in the back of the wall. Do you see those two arches? That's where this painting is. You see those semicircles above the windows? That, and then on the right, those semicircles, those contain the ancestors of Christ from what is called the tree of Jesse in the book of Matthew. Let's go back to the art. This is, go to my computer. This is one of the greatest anythings ever offered on television. This is one of the greatest anythings ever offered on television. And how about that? Fresh to the market, no minimum bid. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anything more historically important. There is Isaiah. There's the oracle. The beheading of the triumph of David over Goliath. These are the ancestors of Christ. A pendentive, ignudi. We are lucky beyond belief. This is an embarrassment of riches. Let's go back to the art. It is lifetime. It is absolutely lifetime. If you know, please read that book called The Agony and the Ecstasy. Go to my computer. And you will come to the agreement with me and many others that there is no way that image was released to the public without the permission of Michelangelo. He looked at it. Please read this book. Not just if you're a Michelangelo collector. Everyone should read this book. And if you can read it without crying. Did you know that La Pieta was made during a war? And they had to install it at night. When the workmen were done, Michelangelo passed out bottles of wine. They all sat there and drank wine. Then the sun came up. They were exhausted. You have to read this book. It is one of the greatest books of all time. Let's go back to the art. Even if you're not religion, if you're just non-religious. It's 99 cents on audiobook. That is underbid. We used to average 12,000, no, I'm sorry, 9 to 12,000 before the pandemic. Going once, going twice, sold.
Every line, every curve, every color, every breath held and every breath released. Art is created. Every moment spent in Berlin, creating this style. Every moment spent in Shanghai, mastering this style. Every moment of doubt, every moment of joy. Hours painting, years of creating. Harmony, peace, tranquility. With every collaboration, with every exhibition, his name grows.
Sold.
Sold! California!
Sold it under my...
Sold
Sold at $41,000.
Sold at 63.
With every hammer drop and every piece sold, now is the time
And there's up the ball and all in and I...
for KEF.
Sold. Marc Chagall was a French artist. He is a French citizen, but he was born in Russia. He was born in Lyazna, which is near Vitebsk, Russia, the Russian Empire. Today we would call that Belarus. An early modernist. He is associated definitely with many major artistic styles, but he worked in every artistic format: painting, book illustration, stained glass, stage sets, ceramics, tapestries, and of course, well over 1,000 fine art prints. He is the quintessential artist of the 20th century. But he's also the last survivor. He had a long life. He lived to be 97. He was born in 1887 and passed away March 28, 1985. I know where we're standing when I open the St. Pete Times, 7751 53rd Street North in the living room. And it saddened me. In any event, I do want to talk about his stained glass. If you go to the United Nations, look for the Chagall stained glass. If you're at the Great Cathedral of Reims in France, which is near Epernay, which is, okay, you're in Paris. You want to take a day trip. Go to Euro Disney. I know, I went. It was wonderful. And then keep going, or spend the night and then keep going the next day because you're in the Champagne region. And we toured Dom Perignon. We went to a number of, I can't remember because anyhow. And anyhow, we ended up in downtown Reims, and I walked to the cathedral, and that's where they signed the Instrument of Surrender to end World War II in the European theater. You look at those stained glass windows, they're so beautiful, you just want to cry. If you're in the Champagne region, you have to go. The world class, the famous Jerusalem windows of Israel, but he also did large scale paintings. Now, if you go to Paris, do the Eiffel Tower. It's wonderful. Eating a nice restaurant, it's wonderful. Go see the Mona Lisa, it's wonderful. But please do not leave Paris without going to the Paris Opera. Now, they'll let you in for free. You can walk around all you want. But if you take the tour, $13, they'll turn on the lights. And I literally gasped. If you go to Paris, please go see the Paris Opera Hall. It is wonderful. Now, not only was he a pioneer of modernism, he experienced modernism's golden age, where we went through Fauvism, and that led into cubism, which led into symbolism, which led into Fauvism, and the influence of Fauvism then gave rise to surrealism. But throughout all of this, he remained true to himself, a figurative artist, the human figure, and a long, dreamy reverie of life. And it always goes back to Paris and Vitebsk and the color. I mean, My computer, and then I'll measure it. I'm over here by the computer anyhow. I know you can't, I just want to show you. Number 3, the 3 top valuable, we just had a question, is it pencil signed? The record for a print by Marc Chagall. All 3 of them are Daphne and Chloe. Are you ready? Pencil signed? Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Daphne and Chloe, Daphne and Chloe, Daphne and Chloe, entire portfolio. So, yeah, the one that you want is Daphne and Chloe. So you want Daphne and Chloe. Now I said I would measure it, so let me do that. On the frame now, that's going to be 20 by 22, 20 by 22, 20 by 22. Gold fillet on that. And what's happening here? Look at the smiles on the faces. She's getting dressed for her wedding. Chloe is getting, oh, there's a little dust on there. All right. We don't charge for dust. Actually, that's a piece of styrofoam. We don't charge for styrofoam either. So is it historically valuable? Let's go to the book. Let's go to the book. And this is called the Big Red Book. As you can see, it's been through a lot of auctions. And we come to this section here on Daphne and Chloe. And it is a great romance. It is a love story. And they grow up together. I'll read the proper dissertation in a moment. And this one is called The Advice of Philetus, the cowherder, that tells them, what is happening to you? Why, you're falling in love. And the only cure is kissing. So they have their first kiss. And they decide to get married. And this is the moment. There's a lot of excitement and drama and adventure in it. I hope I didn't pass it. And there she is, getting ready for her wedding. Now, can we put them in the same shot? Now, you'll see that in a book, the reproduction, this is in a book, a page in a book, the color saturation will never be as beautiful as the actual document. So if you have the book, the color saturation is all wrong. And I just wanted to point that out, because now go back to the art and look how rich the actual printing is. When you have that actual document with that true printing, that richness of color, the blacks are very, very black. Let's go to the certificate. Chloe is getting dressed and coiffured. She's getting her clothes, her wedding dress and her hair done by Clarista. The lithograph is printed in 7 colors on wallpaper after the original. The original was a painting that was done in oil crépage, gouache, non-transparent watercolor, and pen and ink and pencil. They were quite complex. Published by George Brazilier in 1977, catalog referenced. Wow, catalog referenced, holy mackerel. Now, the story is actually, was written in the year 150, and it was by an ancient Greek writer named Longus. And it is said to be one of the earliest known formats or uses of a literary format we use today called the novel. Because before that, a lot of things were fables, really imaginative. And then there were tax records, grain records, beer records, and then the life of a king. You know what I mean. So there's a setting, a cast of characters, interaction, drama, a climax in the story, and then resolution. It does resemble a modern novel. Well, in any event, it's the story of a boy named Daphne and a girl named Chloe, and they're abandoned at birth. They are orphans. Now, a goat herd named Lemon discovers the boy, Daphne, and a shepherd, a sheep herder, named Dryas finds Chloe, the girl. Each decides to raise the child he finds as his own. Daphne and Chloe grow up together, and they're herding the flocks of their foster parents, and they fall in love. But being naive, they do not understand what is happening to them. So Philetus, a wise old cowherd, explains to them what love is and tells them the only cure is kissing, and they do this. Now, throughout the book, Chloe, our pretty girl, she's courted by other suitors. That means other boys are chasing her. Actually, two of them, Dorcon and Lampus, actually try to kidnap her, carry her off to another town and make her your wife. Meanwhile, the boy, Daphne, he falls into a pit. He gets beaten up. He gets abducted by pirates. But in the end, after being recognized by their birth parents, Daphne and Chloe get married and live out their bucolic lives in the country. So this is the wedding. See her bouquet of flowers? She's getting coiffured. Her hair is being done, and she's got her prettiest dress. Let's have a close-up on Chloe's face. Look how happy she is. She's getting married. The happiest day of her life. And we are half the price of that $400 frame. We are half the price of the $400 frame. I'll go to my computer, one of my favorite trivias about Daphne and Chloe. Lawrence Rinder, the director of the Berkeley Art Museum, attributes the inspiration for the film, The Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies of all time. It's got Andre the Giant in it. Look at this cast. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Wallace Shawn. Never gamble with a Sicilian when death is on the line. Andre the Giant. Wait. Here it is. Mandy Patinkin. That's not a good picture of him. Let's see a picture of him when he's young. Oh, go back to the art. I don't want to see him in a beard. $275. Remember these days. Remember how lucky you were that you were an art collector in 2024. When the guys, I've looked around, and I went years ago. I mean, during the pandemic, about 2-3 years ago, I wanted to buy a new pickup truck, and they were advertised on the Dodge Ram pickup truck site at $49,000. And I thought, well, you know, if I trade in my old truck and I've saved up some money and I make payments. So I go down there and he goes, no, we don't do that. I go, what do you mean you don't do that? No, we don't do that. Pick one off the lot. $77,000. And I said to the guy, you've been doing this for 100 years. America's been making pickup trucks in 1924. This is 70. He goes, oh, it's not a problem. We have 9-year payment programs. It's like a mortgage. So I'm driving a pickup truck with a rebuilt salvage title. I am. $77,000 for a pickup truck. The point that I'm trying to make is that there's only two things I think of that are fairly priced. art on this TV show, and yes, I do mean it, and cruises. I mean, if you go to Florida, a $300 a night hotel room now isn't that good. In Vegas, they want $400 a night for a hotel room now. And parking's $50 in resort fees. It's all crazy. But a cruise, about $200 a day and all the food you can eat. To me, please, if you know anything that you think is kind of fairly priced, let me know. But I think it's fine art on this show and cruises. That's it. That's all I can find. Sure is an airfare. I've got $275, now it's going to bid $3. I've got $275 going once, less than the price of the frame. I've got $275 going twice, less than the price of the frame. Please shop me. Please check the prices on these frames. All right, we're approaching the final 10. I would bid the $25. It's a beautiful bride, and I will say it, even though it's before Thanksgiving, this would make a great Christmas present. It's beautiful, it's happy, the happiest day of her life. Any further advance? Our record on this show is $3,000. That was before the pandemic. I will not bid for you. I'm not going to budge. I don't change. I looked a man in the eye and shook his hand. I told him on the day one, when I started, I said, I'm not going to change. Orban Huchet passed away over 9 years. I think it's 11 years now. I don't even know. But no, get somebody else. Deal's a deal. Where do you draw the line? I don't think you'll do any better. Well, not in theory, in practice. The art is free. You're getting the art for free. Because we are below. Okay, I'm going to pitch a fit. Go to my computer. This is a poster. It's a reproduction. It's $450. It's a post. All right, go back to the art. You win. What do you say, Tony?
I say,
going once, going twice. Sold. All right, I'm going to pitch a fit. Tony, I know we don't go backward. I want everybody to pay attention. Go to my computer. I just found it at an antique shop. What's the price? Whoever got that Daphne and Chloe, do the happy dance. I'm grumpy now. All right, let's move on. Go back to the art. Salvador Domingo Felipe Jacinto Dali Dominiche, the Marquess of Dali of Poubal. A Marquess, in France we would say the Marquis. He was nobility. Born May 11th, 1904, he passed away the 23rd of January, 1989. His name today is synonymous with surrealism. He was a great Spaniard, renowned for his technical skill, his precise draftsmanship, but most importantly, the striking and bizarre images his work. He was born in Figueres, which is Catalonia, Spain. He received a very formal education in fine arts in Madrid. As a young man, like many men of his time, he was influenced by Impressionism and studied deeply the Renaissance masters from a young age. But as a young man, and being aware of global situations and reads the paper, he became increasingly attracted to cubism and all of the avant-garde art movements. So he moved much closer to surrealism in the late 1920s. He actually joined the surrealist group in 1929, and it is said that he became more surreal than all of the surrealists. His best-known work, The Persistence of Memory, was completed in August of 1931. It is the single most famous surrealist painting. It's at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. When war loomed and reared its ugly head in 1939, even though he had a Spanish passport and was considered neutral, Spain was neutral during World War II, there was a bounty on his head for making surrealist art. He was declared a degenerate artist, so he left for the United States in 1940. He became quite famous. He loved staying at the Hotel St. Regis. He was very brilliant. He was a genius. When he returned to Spain in 1948, did you know he lived in Monterey, California for a while in the 40s? Yeah, he did. He announced a return to the Catholic faith and developed what he called his own nuclear mysticism style. It was based on an interest in classicism, classical art, mysticism, and all the recent scientific developments. His artistic repertoire included painting, graphic arts, film, sculpture, design, photography. He would collaborate with many artists, including Alice Cooper. Matter of fact, he and Alice Cooper together made the world's first true holographic sculpture. It's at the Dali Museum in Florida. He wrote fiction, he wrote poetry, he wrote essays and criticisms. But I think his most important paper is his own diary, The Secret Life of Salvador Dali. His themes had no limit. His dreams, the subconscious, sexuality, religion, science, all of his close personal relationships. And that was to the dismay of those who held his work in high regard, and it irritated his critics that his very eccentric, his ostentatious public behavior often drew more attention than his artwork. Well, is it a museum piece? Is it absolutely a museum piece? Yes. We're going to do this live. Go to my computer. I just typed in Dali Museum Spain, and we click on their website. And they've got a lot of nice things. We go to the top, virtual visit, and there we have it. And we click on the front door, and there's the front door. I feel so lucky I've walked through that door. We step inside. Now, on these shelves, it's full of T-shirts and tchotchkes, and I don't know. I think they took everything out. And then there's something interesting right here. They have, Miro posters, but look at this. A poster for the study of Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. That is cool. Okay, so we go into the museum. There's Salvador Dali's 1941 Cadillac. And right here on the wall, we see images from Salvador Dali's interpretation of the stories of Pantagruel. Yeah, it's a museum piece. Let me see if I can turn around. Yeah, and there it is. I mean, this is... So what is it? The 5 books of the lives and deeds of Gargantua and Pantagruel is a story about giants. It's 5 books. Why would Salvador Dali interpret this book? Oh, I know why. Let me enlarge it to make it easy to read. The work is amusing, extravagant, satirical. It has much erudition, vulgarity, and wordplay. Yes, amusing, extravagant, satirical, erudite, vulgar, and wordplay. Yeah, that's my boy Salvador Dali right there. It was stigmatized as obscene by the Sorbonne. So yeah, that would be right up his alley. Some of it, Pantagruelism, is a form of Stoicism, developed and applied throughout, is, among other things, a certain gaiety of spirit, confected in disdain for fortuitous things. I love that quote. The horrible and terrifying deeds of the very renowned Pantagruel, king of the Dipsydes, son of the great giant Gargantua. These are the titles. Okay, so there's a good quote. Okay, go back to the art. And this one's the only one that has an alligator in it. Having returned to sea, they kill a sea monster that drags them ashore, where they are attacked by the chitterlings. Fierce culinary combat ensues, but is peaceably resolved, having been interrupted by a flying pig monster. Then they go to Tool Island. The people are so fat there, they slit their own skin to allow the fat to puff out. The more you read it, the more, oh goodness, the more silly it is, and the more funny it is, and the more it isn't. Yes, it is a museum piece. Now, the bottom line. It has a great root in Socrates, the Symposium. And it does refer upon heavily the allegorical meanings from the works of both Homer and Ovid. But this is great satire. Rabelais, the author, has been named as one of the world's greatest comic genius. Gargantua and Pantagruel covers the entire spectrum of satire. I quote, "It has a combination of diverse satirical tradition and challenges the reader's capacity for critical, independent thinking." I quote John Parkin, "There are 4 basic humorous agendas in Rabelais. The campaigns in which Rabelais engaged uses laughter to enhance his principles. He derides medieval scholarship, both in its method and representatives. He mocks prayer, the traffic in indulgences, monasticism, pilgrimage, Roman rather than universal Catholicism, and in its converse, dogmatic Protestantism. Then he lampoons the Emperor Charles V, and that got him in trouble with the Spanish Inquisition." It is a great read. It's not an easy read, but it will make you laugh. Sorry. Back to my computer. Yes, it's a museum piece. The entire portfolio is on the wall of the museum in Spain. Oh, it's big. Yes, I should measure it. Let me do my job. It is, I think, now let me know if you have better data. I think these are the largest Dali prints ever made. That's 3 feet. 42 by 34. That's 4 feet right there. I hope you have a big wall. And yes, I have one of these, because my dream was to own a Salvador Dali with the large, full signature. Come to the bottom right, please.
And we are at the end of the portfolio, guys. 15.
We're at the end?
We have been averaging between 5 and 15,000 on these. And we got like 2 more left from the portfolio.
I'll take it. I have one. That is the crown jewel of my Dali collection. Okay, this is better than the one in the museum. If we could take a look right here. It is better than the one in the museum. And on another note, right before KEF comes out in about 10 minutes, I want to thank James Zeisser for an incredible pocket watch by Erte. And I wore my vest tonight, James. Isn't this wonderful? I wore my vest for my pocket watch, but the pockets are sewn shut on my vest. And I looked, and there's no real pocket behind it. So I'm going to buy a vest. That's
what they do to you at Casanova.
Yeah, that's right. Well, 3 suits, 3 shirts, 3 ties for $3.99. And that's where I shop. Wait. But wait, there's more.
Every time I walk past Casino,
Thank you.
there's a great purple suit right in the front.
Yeah, I want to get the purple suit. James Iser gave me an Erte watch. I'm too afraid to wear it, James. I called you today, James, but you didn't answer, and that's fine. I just want to let everybody know there's some very nice people that watch this show. I'm grateful. That will never be for sale. That is a treasure. And Kathleen Gallagher sent me a gift today too.
2,000.
We are 10,000 underbid. We are 10,000 underbid. 10,000 underbid. Okay, go to my computer one more time. When you literally walk in the front door, you walk in the front door, you see the gift shop. You see Salvador Dali's 1941 Cadillac. What's the first work of art? What's the first portfolio of art? Gargantua and Pantagruel. And none of those, I've been there twice, God has blessed me. None of these are artist proofs. None of them. That is from the regular edition. Let's go back to the certificate. Les Sons Drôlatiques, The Amusing Songs of Pantagruel, Volume 5. There are 5 books in the collection. It's in the Albert Field catalog. Original lithograph in color on Japan, high-grade paper. It looks like it is silk fibers, Japan Imperial. Pencil signed and numbered. But the big deal, that these are artist proofs. These are the personal property of Salvador Dali, published by Carpentier in France, 1973. He would pass in 1989. I highly recommend this. It's in a $2,400 frame. We are below the price of the frame. Oh, and I want you to check me on these frame prices. Guys, if you're an art collector, you're living in a golden age. You are living in a golden age. This really is a $10,000 discount. This is a $10,000 discount. Hey, Simon. It seems apropos that I'm having a surreal moment with a Salvador Dali, compounded by a surreal moment where Simon walks in. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right, and here we go. Underbid. I've got 24, now let's get a bit of 5. I've got on an artist proof. That means something. I've got 24 going once, 24 going twice. You saw what happened on that Chagall. I'm still kind of upset about that. Go to my computer. Do you know what you get with this? You get nothing. It's an autograph. That's all you get. That's it. You get an autograph. Yeah, you literally, you just get, you don't get any art. Picasso, Dali, Miro, Chagall, these are the blue chip stocks in the world. Even, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Yeah, the Newton guitar. We sold this on the show for, I think, $600. Look at it now. It's tiny. It's nowhere near the size of this. It's a little bitty, it's not nowhere near as big. Guys, bid on this. You're at the price of the frame. You're getting it for free. Oh, and I want you to shop me on those frames. Back to the art. All fair, all square. $100 bid could win it. And we have 2 left in the portfolio. We have 2 left after this, and I may have to come in on my day off and pitch a fit. You sold it to that other guy for $2,500. Why can't you sell it to me? That never works. They always say the same thing. We have to keep the show interesting, Raymond. No, more than interesting, it has to be compelling. That is why we have a reputation for great works of art. Yeah, but I want one. Now is the time to power bid. Take it home. All right, now I literally am going to pitch a fit. 33. Go to my computer. 35. I'm losing my mind. That's on eBay right now. That's on eBay right now. 36. Now you know why I lose my mind. I'll do all. I don't care. I'll do all the pictures. Nope, regular edition. It is not an artist proof. 37. 25,000. All right. 38. All right, and one other thing. Whatever this WT storage is, they've sold 720 items with 100% positive rating. Wow. They have sold 700. That's what those numbers mean. See, a lot of people, when they look on eBay, they don't know what these numbers mean. Okay, 720 items with 100% positive rating. So, yeah. So I think they're a good seller. I have no reason to doubt it. Let's go back to the art. All right, let's go, guys. I don't think you're overbidding. And it is guaranteed authentic forever. All right, we're all fair. Got a couple videos that we're pretty signed up. And that one right there, that's sold to a very lucky bidder.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this project because, I mean, usually my work is more on a flat surface. And so now I'm very happy that I can do it on a 3D object.
KEF has been working hard to bring you his newest creation. Like the great masters before him, KEF is taking his style to a new medium, bringing his creations to life on pottery.
I think this always changed my work completely, and I think this really suits my work, and each vase which I'm painting on is unique.
Coming soon to the Fine Art Auction, original, one-of-a-kind, hand-painted pottery from KEF. Every line, every curve, every color, every breath held and every breath released. Art is created. Every moment spent in Berlin, creating this style. Every moment spent in Shanghai, mastering this style. Every moment of doubt, every moment of joy. Hours painting, years of creating. Harmony, peace, tranquility. With every collaboration, with every exhibition, his name grows.
Sold! Sold! California!
Sold it under the map.
Sold! Sold!
Sold at $41,000.
Sold! Sold at 63.
With every hammer drop and every piece sold, now is the time for KEF.
Ladies and gentlemen, with great pride and pleasure, this is a wonderful day. We have live in our studio international superstar and second-time official artist for World Cup Soccer, Simon Roland. Simon, how are you?
I'm very good. I had a very good day, and yeah, I'm very good. And how about you?
I'm wonderful, and it's just, we've had so many people talk about when is he coming, you know, and we were just talking briefly. How was your nature walk? What happened today?
Today I went out. I never really saw a lot of the nature in the US, so I thought, okay, I will just have a little nature trip, and so I don't actually know where I was exactly, but yeah, it was really nice because the autumn is here.
Yes.
And so colorful leaves everywhere, and then there was a big waterfall. I was very surprised, and there are the ruins of a water mill.
A mill, right?
Yeah, a mill.
Right.
And so yeah, I was just going a bit climbing on the rocks there, and yeah, enjoying
Beautiful.
the sounds of nature.
Now, in the last year, how many countries, how many places have you been to?
Whoa, last year, whoa, I can't even count, I think.
A few.
But I was a lot in East Asia. I was in Hong Kong, Macau, mainland China, Thailand as well. And yeah, I had a really, really good time, especially in Taiwan. And I was disappearing for some time, for some retreat, and to calm my mind, to get inspiration.
Would that be like a Buddhist retreat?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah. And so I do basically the monk life for a certain time, and clean my inner life.
And just, you know, thinking for my clients out there, so after you do go to a Buddhist retreat and meditate, and when you come back and approach the canvas, does it seem different? Does it seem the same? How do you feel when you get back to your art?
The more calm I'm inside, the more I think I can easier get into a flow during the process. So if I charge myself through, let's say, the sessions in Taiwan or wherever, or even nature, I think I'm always really in a really serene state of mind. Yeah, so this is perfect for the process, because the process in itself is kind of a meditation.
I can definitely see that. I can't tell you how many people that have called and said they've begun to study Buddhism, they've begun to study meditation because of you. And I've had people that say just being in a room with your paintings is very calming. And you know, I think that is very noble. I think you're doing good work. And
Thank you.
There is one thing I would like to say is that as an artist, and I've said this about other artists throughout history, and my personal experience, I met an artist named Caroline Young back in 1987, and she was a waitress. And as she got more successful, the art got better. And I think we've known each other since 2016.
Yeah, maybe 18.
Oh, is it 18?
Yeah. I also lose
all a blur.
Track of time a bit, but I think it was 18. Yeah. 6 years ago.
David, can we go to that video for the very first time I saw a KEF painting? It was at a hotel off the Champs-Élysées in Paris. What was it called? I know. Hotel La Ronde Point.
Could be.
I sat down and looked at your art, and I thought they were reduced photomechanical giclée. And then you said they were originals with a varnish coat. You saw me put my nose on there, and I went, I can't believe it.
And that was the very first time I saw one of your paintings. Well, tell me about these sculptures. Now, for those of you at home, when I first saw it from a distance, I thought it was 3D printed, which would be the newest, latest thing. No, this is steel?
Yeah, they are made of steel, and that's why they're also so heavy. And they are experimental proofs. So they are extremely rare because they are made through the process.
If we could come right down here in the bottom right, I don't want to tip it over. It is signed, and a little bit of dust on there. And well, tell me everything about this work of art.
So this is, so as I say, this is like made through the process. So on the back side is actually EP. It's on the bottom.
Oh, it's underneath. I'm not going to touch it.
And so each one of those is, I would say, not perfect, because they are still in the process to the final edition, and therefore they are called experimental proof. And it's the first time now that I worked with the material steel, and it comes back that I was between 2009 and 2013, I was in an apprenticeship as an industrial mechanic, and so the main material we worked with was metal. And so now it's the first time that I could bring back the past and meld it with the present as I do my paintings, and I melted it together.
I'm smiling because how many times have I said on this show and throughout my life, great art is autobiographical. So I know you have a background in engineering.
Yeah.
And tell me again about your background in metalworking. So this really is a diary of your life.
Yes, that's true. And this is made actually by laser cut.
Wow.
And since these are the experimental proofs, they are still like tiny
Laser burn?
Yeah, laser burn
Oxidation?
and imperfections. And that's why they are so unique, because later the editions, they won't be as like these ones.
There you
Yeah, here for example, you can see that. Ah.
You know what I call this? I call this the bad haircut theory.
Okay,
no one
let's
knows
see.
you have a bad haircut until say, look, I got a bad
Here we
haircut.
go.
Oh, yeah, obvious. I can see it right there.
And then, yeah. So these
I
are
don't
the
see
little imperfections. Let's see on the back side if I can see some more.
So, not much of a background in sales, huh, Simon?
Here also some more.
Well, it is an experimental proof, which means this is the very first one in history. I think it is spectacular. I think it's a new generation. And, you know, great art should evoke the time when it was made. And the fact that this was made with a laser, I'm thinking of Mike Myers and Dr. Evil, to me it makes it even more valuable. So, are you going to, I just want to see the light.
Sure.
Makes it worse? Okay. I'm helping, Tony. So are there plans for these in the future?
Sure, there are plans that there will be an edition, but I can't tell too much yet. Yeah. So I'm just really happy to have now the experimental proofs. And yeah. So
this literally is the very beginning of a new phase in history.
Yes.
I highly recommend this to any art collector. We have Richard English in the house, and Richard recently sold an original work of art by Simon Roland. I'm getting better. By KEF. KEF is an art name. KEF actually, if you are new to the show, KEF means scar. And so he began as an outdoor graffiti artist, among many other things. And so when you make a tag or graffiti design on a building, you are, in a way, making a scar on the building. So I think the name KEF is very apropos. I think it's perfect.
if you want, I can show the bottom side.
I'll let you do it. I'm not.
Yeah.
Would you like gloves, or you don't
Sure,
care?
sure. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe better.
Richard has some right there.
So we keep it clean and neat.
Yeah, there is not a fingerprint on this. And so on the bottom, it is not numbered. It is marked experimental proof.
Yeah.
Around Ray's side.
All right, let me get out of the way here.
So Ray, on the, actually,
on the bottom of the sculpture, and they are quite heavy, ladies and gentlemen. There's quite good weight. Good evening, by the way. There is good weight, and Ray, just down here, there are only 4 designs and only 4 experimental proofs in the world. We let 2 of them go last night to new homes.
Yeah.
I believe one went to North Carolina. Not quite sure where the other one went. But ladies and gentlemen, these are the next 2. So you've got this design, and then Ray's going to be offering the final one in a few moments' time. But there were 4 experimental proofs.
Yeah.
These
correct.
are the first to ever be offered anywhere in the world.
That's right.
And something I did last night, Ray, which I think, Simon, if you don't mind, on our beautiful certificates with the gold leaf, would you mind just putting, a nice dedication to the top bidder?
Sure.
And also saying congratulations on the first sculpture in the world.
Of course.
I think that's
I
lovely.
think so. And
Thank you.
so there are 4, and all 4 are different designs.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
this is 1.
Yes.
Okay, so this literally is the beginning.
Yeah, that's the beginning. And we also made them in Mexico. So I watched the process there, and yeah, today I'm matching also color-wise.
You know, it's funny. I went to Mexico for dental work because it's so expensive, but what a lovely country. You know,
I like
and
it
we
too.
were in Merida, and it reminded me of Key West in the 70s. What a lovely nation and lovely people.
Yeah, I also like Mexico City.
I haven't been to Mexico City.
It's very vibrant, and the art scene is really coming up.
So this is not an addition of 1. This is an experimental proof number 1.
Yes.
There is no number.
Yeah.
There is nothing earlier than this of this design. There were 4. Each design is different.
Yes.
So this literally is a beginning piece.
That's the beginning of the steel sculptures. Yeah.
This is what you've approved, and from this, a limited edition will be made.
Yeah, that's
But
correct.
this is the actual original of that design.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And just to be, a dummy, there's nothing earlier.
No.
This is the experimental proof.
That's the experimental proof. Yeah.
And that cannot, there can only be one number 1.
Yeah, and we had to experiment a lot on this because it's very fine.
Very
so
fine.
we needed to make many trials as well to get them into the state that it looks like that now. Because before it was really looking rough. So I was not satisfied. So now I'm more close to the final ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like the fact that, anytime you have literally the true number 1, I mean, for a collector, that is something that I really enjoy. That would be perfect.
With the shadow, it looks also nice.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the
Like
shadow.
here, the light behind.
Is it better up close? Tony said, "Nah, it doesn't work. It makes it worse." Oh, I know. Just for fun, let's just see if this works. I have a small flashlight. Oh yeah, that's much better. That doesn't work at all. Oh yeah.
Can I actually show you something else?
Okay, please.
Here. Because let's see if it works. Let's see if this works, because last night, actually, we didn't have that wonderful backdrop. But
Oh, now you can see the shadow.
now
Yeah.
you can see some reflection on the actual metalwork. If you angle that, Ray, just on the turntable, that's fine. But you get a lovely pattern on the on that background now. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's like getting 2 sculpture for the price of 1, Ray. There we go. But it's yeah, I think various angles, and you see how fine the cuts were to make this, because your artwork is not easy to do in metalwork, and because Simon has a background in metalwork, metal engineering, tell us how difficult that is. I mean, that's very difficult to make.
It's very difficult, yeah, because there are these tiny gaps which need to get cut out by the laser. So it's very, very fine work, and it takes really a long process to reach that. And also, I will definitely put one of those later when the edition is there into my apartment, because it's really suiting my apartment. I'm quite minimal, so normally I don't even put my own work into my apartment, but this will go.
I think so.
Yeah, this will go definitely.
Well, if you come out with a full edition, I'm going to have a little talk with management. I'm definitely getting one of these. I already know where I'm going to put it. It's remarkable. And again, for our collectors, I want you to think long term. And I've always said that on this show. You don't think of collecting art in terms of months or years. You think of collecting art in terms of decades. This is once in a lifetime. It is limited edition number 1. It is the experimental proof number 1. It literally is the first of the first. There were 4 that were made.
What did we say earlier? Better get one white king.
Oh, I'm sorry, 4 that were made, and we're on number 3. We're going to do one more after this, and that's it. Everything else will be in the edition. And yes, I'm getting one. Absolutely.
Ray, just one other comment, if I may, is that we have this white background tonight, which has really helped. It's, just a very simple thing, but it just helps to see, because the sculpture is very fine, the way it's cut. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we don't often talk about this, Ray, but for an interior designer, this artwork is superb, because no matter what color your wall behind it or your area where you're going to display this, your decor becomes part of the artwork, because if you had a red wall, you're now going to have a red background behind the artwork. So it really is fantastic.
What
this
you could do is get a light board, an LED board that changes color.
Right.
Yeah.
Put it behind it and have it just change color.
you could get very inventive. You could have plexi behind it, different color plexi.
They have TV programs now, so that you can turn your own television. So Simon,
I also want to correct one thing, because I was just saying that I don't put my own work in my apartment. So it does not mean that I obviously don't like my work, but it's just that at home I'm cleaning my mind.
Okay.
So I need a lot of space, but this will still go into my apartment.
I'm going to turn the lights up when you guys are on.
All right.
You're not in shadow.
One of the big questions we've had over and over.
Oh, that close-up, that looks really good. that looks phenomenal.
I do want to remind everyone that there are 8 billion people on the planet. And in 2019, when Argentina was led by Lionel Messi to win the World Cup finals, 5 billion, that is more than half the planet, more than half the people on the planet watched the finals. That is 5 billion people. Simon, you were one of the World Cup artists.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, did they ask you back?
What do you mean?
Are you coming to Atlanta?
Oh.
No, I meant for the World Cup.
Maybe.
That's not what I heard.
Yeah, well, I mean, it would be great, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe there are some talks already, I don't know. Yeah, but I had a really good time, yeah.
Well, I do, again, want to congratulate you, because that is truly a world-class achievement to be one of the few artists selected by World Cup. I mean, that is half the people on the planet.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I really enjoyed the time there.
Well, I remember now I'm going back a few years, when you were invited by Porsche in Mulhouse, France?
Yes.
Is that the correct pronunciation? And you painted the first electric Porsche, the Taycan.
Yeah.
Did it sell?
This, I'm not sure.
Okay, because you went on the road.
Yes.
I had a client that offered $135,000 Now on the base, I'm going to measure the base first. That is going to be 18, 18, 18 by 4. The base is 18 by 4. No, I'm not. So approximately on that is going to be 18. So it's about 18 by, and I'm not touching the base, I'm going behind it. 13 and 3/8. 13 and 3/8. 18 by 13 and 3/8. 55. Guys, a historical event like this does not happen very often. And one of my favorite accomplishments. And Simon, while I set up my computer, just tell us any story, because I'm going to tell the story about the Berlin Festival of Lights.
Okay.
It's up to you.
So I also wanted to share a story. So I sometimes get messages of people, and I'm always feeling very happy to read what the impact of my work to some people. And so recently I got a message of a woman, she's from the US, and she was sharing that 5 years ago she was pregnant, and her mother-in-law pressured her to do an abortion of the baby, and she didn't want to do it, and so she discovered my work on internet, and so then she felt a lot of strength coming into her, and she could clear her mind more, and she made a decision that she would like to keep the baby, and she sent me a picture, and today her son is 5 years old. And so I'm always really happy when I get to hear such stories. And yeah, for me it's impressive that even through internet, that for some people that they can gain such strength through the work, and yeah, it makes me really happy to hear this kind of things.
Me too. If there ever is an artist who has been contributing positivity to the world art scene, it's you. We're going to give it one more minute. Get your bid in. Now we have 1 hour left in the show. We have one other sculpture, and we have some amazing original paintings. And John Weineman, I have not forgotten about you. When we get to the paintings, our friend John has a very nice question. All right, 40 seconds left on this sculpture. There are 4 experimental proofs, all different designs, but there is only one of each. This is number 3 of 4, and then after this will be number 4 of 4, and that's it. And then it will be regular.
You don't get it.
You get nothing. Well, who thought of the idea of doing this type of sculpture? Was it you?
Yes, or yeah.
Good.
I mean, everything comes from me basically. So yeah, so now it was really time. I mean, it was already in my mind for a long time to work with steel or metal. And so yeah, now it was the moment. So I actually have always ideas, and I carry them with me until a moment where I think, okay, now it's time to do it.
Well, let me walk over and get my gavel, and I think, last call, I think this is the buy of a lifetime. I really do. Tony, any further bid? Last call.
All right, I got fuel bid. I got active bid. It's a nice thing around here once in a while.
It is after 11. We have a full catalog. And no, we are not leaving anything out. Okay, last call for a reel. We must move on. And again, I want to remind everybody, think in a historical sense. We're going to look back on these. We're going to look back on, Oh, no. Just a small item. Go to my computer. We're going to come back to that in a moment. Winner, 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 chicken dinner. Let's go back to the art. And yes, I'll be showing photographs of the Berlin Festival of Lights. I, Ray Taylor, have already written to the Atlanta City Council to have them do the Festival of Lights in Atlanta for World Cup soccer. Hammers up and I'm all done, all in, and I sold. I've just been informed that our friend Roland, KEF, has just done a mural in Marseille, 75 feet tall by 25 feet wide. 75 feet wide, 25 feet tall. I will get you photos of that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is number 4 of 4. Take a good look. History is in the making. Let's go to the certificate. Elemental Fusion number 2, the original cut and painted steel sculpture, signed and annotated by the artist on the base. It is an experimental proof with a unique variation before the regular edition. Well, extremely rare because there is one in the world. One and only one. One and only one. The size of the sculpture, one moment please, is going to be, I'm just going to call that 18. If we could zoom in right by my thumb, that's 18. 18 inches. Okay, it is 18, and then on the base, 18 by 12 and 3/4. 18 by 12 and 3/4. Okay, this is it for real. Now, once the steel laser cutting goes into regular production, there won't be any more experimental proofs. There just won't. You know, and I don't mind repeating that it was Porsche out of Mulhouse, France. And if you know anything about the racing history of Mulhouse, Roland, KEF, was chosen to paint the world's first all-electric Porsche. Now, I did have a client call and say, Ray, it's pronounced Porsche. And so I called the Porsche dealer here in Atlanta, and they said both are acceptable because they've been in common usage for so long. But it was Dr. Ferdinand Porsche. So, but you can say Porsche. Thank you for your bid. It is signed. I'd rather use a mirror, but there's a clear signature right there. I don't have gloves, so I'm not going to touch it. I do want to play with this light a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's a big improvement. Oh yeah, I'm helping. Simon, get over here. They don't care about me. Tell us a story, anything. Tell us about a dog, a cat, a puppy. I don't.
Well, there's the signature of this young man standing on my right, your left, ladies and gentlemen. And then once again, the fourth and final EP. Only 4 in the world. This is the last one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is literally a unique opportunity for a collector. And as I said, now we learn all the time. And last night we had to move a big painting in the background because I didn't realize with the camera, just because when you're up close you see, a block of black. You don't realize from a distance, because this is so finely cut that actually from a distance it's hard to see unless you have white or some color behind it. But as I said, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a blue suit on, but if you had a blue wall, you're now got, your artwork or your decor becomes part of your artwork. That's interesting though, because people, when they decorate their home, maybe they do like a little contrast corner, and it might have a different color in there, and they think, oh, this will look fantastic in there with a light on it. But as Ray said as well, you get panels now with the lighting behind it, and you can even change the color of the panels. So this could be changing all the time, and I just think for interior designers, Ray, these are absolutely beautiful.
And also, if you would put a spotlight here, shining onto the sculpture, you're going to have a
bigger shadow,
which is like that.
As a light coming this way, you get a big shadow of the perfect sculpture.
Just for fun.
There we go.
Well, Simon, back to you. As you were saying, plans for the future.
Plans for the future, yes. So in February, in January, I will be in Los Angeles because there's an upcoming museum show, and I have a piece there. And then in February, I have to be in Berlin because I have a commission to do, it's like 2 murals, and in the middle is an elevator. And then February, I probably disappear again for some while.
Good.
In the mountains of Taiwan.
Good.
And there are some projects coming up, but I can't tell too much.
Well, back up. You just said a museum in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Tell me more.
So this is part of the Burner Show, which is going around since I think 2 years now. Yeah, and so there are artists included like Banksy, or I'm not sure if Mr. Doodle is this time in the museum as well. Pure Evil, maybe too. Bambi, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, there are great names.
Those are big names.
Yeah.
And of course, you're A-list. Absolutely. You'll have to keep me posted, because I do have friends in Los Angeles, and I'm long overdue for a trip to LA, and I'll use any excuse. I'd love to come out and videotape it. Are you hearing that, boss?
Can we maybe check the shadow again, like what we did before, where we lower the light?
Of course.
Because I would like to see how it looks like with this.
Richard, can you help us with the lights?
Yeah, the lights will make a picture.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can really see it there, but...
Pull this forward a bit.
The sculpture?
Yeah. And leave that back on the, leave it there. Oh, let's see.
Well,
No, it's 'cause the lights are coming
our
from
light
above.
is coming from way high up.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah. But me personally, I always like when there are artworks which are playing with the light as well.
Well, for me, as an art collector and an art lover, I do want to remind everybody about the historical aspect of this. We simply can't go back in time to November 24th, 2024, and have this opportunity again. A collector watching this show on our very humble show will own this now. I mean, it is live, it is real. We are auctioning this now. When we look back 10 years, we're going to find that there were 4 experimental proofs that set the tone. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, it would be like having Andy Warhol soup can print number 1. Oh no, a trial proof, a bon étiré. This is really nice.
And
Please.
here you can also see strongly that it's an experimental proof. You can see it at the drips on the bottom. They're not perfectly straight. So the experimental proofs, they are not. So I'm working actually always with 95% perfection, because 100 doesn't exist. And so the 5 last ones are just a waste of time and no one else sees. But these are not at 95%. That's why they are called experimental proofs. And that's why I point out now the drips on the bottom, because they are not 95% straight.
If you didn't tell me, I would have never known. Again, I go back to the bad haircut theory. Look how bad this haircut is. Oh, yeah, you're right. This is absolutely wonderful. Now, where would you call home? Do you still have your apartment in Berlin, or?
I mean, I live and work in Berlin, but for example, last year I traveled around 5 months.
Wow.
So I'm not sure really where my home is at the moment. So I would say at the moment it feels like I don't really have a home. I mean, the home is the world at the end.
Right.
Wherever I am, I'm home.
It's a bit existentialism, but okay. Forget about time, money, travel. What would be a dream vacation? Antarctica? Patagonia?
Dream
Africa.
vacation.
Peachtree City.
What is Peachtree?
You're in Peachtree City,
Oh,
which is right by Beaufort.
well, that's a very good question. I think somewhere in nowhere, an island. I'm not sure where even, but just an island somewhere in nowhere with nothing, just staying there for 1 month, listen to the waves. I think I'm happy.
I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody hears about there it is right there. Everybody hears about Tahiti, and the capital city there is Papeete. Now that is a real. It looks like France. It's a French village, and it's beautiful. But a half-hour ride in a barge, you can be on Bora Bora. And well, actually, now they call it Bora because it's not half the place it used to be.
Where would you go?
Bora Bora.
Oh.
It is. It is what you think Tahiti would be. It's an outer island of Tahiti, but it has convenience and absolute quiet and beauty. The thing about, now I'm going to give away a little bit of a secret here. When you go to Tahiti and you see that big volcano crater, well, there's a mud flat and then the atoll, the ring of coral. That mud flat, when it gets low tide, stinks. It smells like old fish.
That's a very good tip.
Bora Bora just has coves that are beautiful, and they have flowers and they have fruit. And we were going along the road and we saw a stray dog, and Lori was all scared, and I was like, nah. And the dog came up wagging his tail. So, and I never felt so welcome. I recommend it.
Very good.
Another thing, you can take a cruise there and get off the cruise ship, and they'll come pick you up later, like in a week or a month.
In a week or a month?
Yeah, so I'll be back in a month. I'll go with you. No, go ahead, please.
So actually, also when I mentioned the shadow of the sculpture, so at the beginning of this month, I had the opening of my solo show in Germany, and it was also first time that I worked with textile. And there it was the same, that I wanted to work with textile for a long time. It was in my mind since probably 2-3 years, and now it was the right moment to do it. And so there I actually also played with light, shadow, and yeah, I'm at the moment I'm very much into the light. How the light and
it's so interesting that you
working.
said textiles, because I'm just going to be a bit more prosaic, workaday world. I think you should contact Chanel or any of the great designers like Versace. Your artwork would be great on clothing, and I can see it on the Paris runway fashion models.
Yeah, but actually I let them come more to me.
I'll make a phone call.
I was just thinking, Simon, with what you've done here, and we're experimenting, and we've got the card behind, and we can see the shadows. But Ray, don't you think it'd be lovely that when these become available to your top galleries around the world, that actually you have a larger size drawing of these in a faint, almost like a pencil, so it looks like it's a shadow, but you're buying the shadow of your sculpture.
That would be a great print series.
Exactly.
To have the print and the sculpture in the same.
Yeah, so you're actually
Brilliant.
buying a larger, double the size
right.
of the sculpture, but it's the shadow effect.
Oh, I'd love to
as
see
if
that.
it was the shadow, but it's actually a drawing.
Oh,
I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah. And we're just thinking, and I would like to see this either in front of or behind an aquarium.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be a nice play on light and color. And then if you made reproductions, not these, put them in the aquarium.
You both are getting really inspired here, no?
Yeah, I think so.
We're
so happy to see you.
Here.
Yeah.
You bring out our creative side.
And soon I'm the auctioneer.
Good. All right, 30 seconds left. I think I have a consensus that we are underbid. I know I say that again, but I want you to think this is the first time in history they've been offered anywhere, and I mean anywhere. There are four. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on the last one now. Everything after this will not be an experimental. It will be the regular edition. And yes, I'm getting one. Whoever gets this, I want you to consider yourself very lucky. Let's bring up the lights. We're going to finish the auction on this piece, and we've only got about 40 minutes left in the show and a full catalog. Final bid here and now.
All right, guys, it is last call.
I've got 5750 going once, looking for 6,000 or more. Oh,
And just to remind you once again that Simon has very, very kindly said that as it is the first in the world, he will do a dedication verifying that. So it's another layer of authenticity. This is also on camera, so you have digital provenance. Ray is the expert on that. But thank you, Simon, for doing all of this, for your talent in the first place, but for making it extra special for whoever collected these 4 amazing first sculptures in the world. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for all the support from home.
okay, we must move on. Again, I cannot emphasize, last call, last one, 4 of 4. The other 3 have sold. We are closing this out now. If you were ever thinking of bidding, now is the time. Going once, going twice. Is there any further advance? The bid is to you. I'm going to go, I should bring my gavel with me. I'm going to go over. I am throwing the gavel. Yes or no?
We're off it.
Sold it under the money now, way under the money. Congratulations.
Remember, this was the most popular limited edition print. This painting's been on tour. This thing's been...
Ladies and gentlemen, with great pride and pleasure, may I present a work of art that's actually been on a museum tour. And yes, that does matter. This is one of our earliest and most popular limited editions. This is the original. Now, if you know art collectors worldwide, they collect limited edition prints, and they can spend literally decades, their whole life, looking for the original. Once a major original or any original goes into the home of a private collector, you can't track it. You don't know where to look. You can go to major auction houses like Sotheby's, Bonhams, Butterfields, Christie's, and do what are called, and sign up for what are called auction alerts. I'm looking for a painting by Paul Gauguin, and they will send you an email. But other than that, the chance of finding a published original is very, very rare. Now, this has been published. And now, for our Q&A, John Weineman, who's been waiting very patiently. Come on over, Simon. We have a very nice collector and a decent human being. This gentleman is so kind. Now, when you do the color, do you do the color first or the line first, or how are they made?
So first I do the white background. I like to make the white 95% white. And then I do the black lines on this piece. I did the black lines, and then I do the colors, and then I touch up around the colors, and then I do the drips.
I have looked at these and look at these, and bring the, because it's closest, come in on the bottom line here where he's done that line. I don't see any touch up. That looks flawless. That looks, you know something, Simon? You're a real artist. You have got the gift in your hand. And then when I look at the, how do you determine this overall pattern? Now, I had a client say, is it fractals?
I mean, I don't really give it a term. For me, it's just like an organic shape coming, because I don't want to, I would like to point more out the feelings and not really some terms or things which are related to the material world. So for me, the feelings which bring you balance and serenity inside are the most important. So therefore, I try to disconnect everything from the outside world and want to show more something what can bring a positive impact into our inside world.
I'm going to rely upon an authority. The last time I was right here on the stage with a painting smaller than this, I sold it for $41,000. Richard English, if you would, sir. The last time you had a painting this size, the last two paintings you had this size, what did you sell them for? Please, I want you to speak from personal experience.
Well, actually, Ray, the one, it was actually about half this size in England, because actually if you cut it in half and put it round that way, that was the one we did for charity, and basically that sold in the auction in England with a few famous people around.
Well, who was there with you?
One was Robert Plant.
Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin.
He's so modest, isn't he? He's now Robert Plant's best friend.
Him and Robert.
Robert Plant, Andy Taylor. Andrew Ridgeley, who was George Michael's partner in the band Wham.
Yeah.
And me, of course. You know, so don't forget me.
Yeah. He was, of course, the
MC, the star.
The ring man.
The star, the ring man.
Well, no, the painting was half the size. Turn it around the other ways, and that went in the auction for $50,000. Then you did the big painting, which was absolutely amazing. You did that live on the BBC in England, and over a period of time. And we managed to get that back to America, because I know a lot of people wanted it in Europe, but we brought it back here, and it went to a lovely couple in California. So if you're watching Mr. and Mrs. R, hope you're well. And anyway, congratulations, because that was a very special painting, because it took you back to where it all began, because that one was actually done with aerosol, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And it was the first time since 2015 that I went back to London. I mean, I was living there for 2 years. And so that's why I call it reunion. Yeah, because I went back, and it was really crazy for me to see how London changed in the meantime. In Shoreditch, like Brick Lane, some areas I just could not recognize anymore. It's
Yeah, Brick Lane's very famous, but the hammer price here in the studio was $63,000. So that's the current auction record for the show. So with that in mind, they're going to let Ray finish.
No, I think I should leave. You're at 63,000. I can't even get 10,000. Well, let's give it a clock and give it a bid. And as promised, I am going to go over to my computer. I have it all set up, but I want to talk to you about the coming Atlanta Festival of Lights. Now, this is in the making. I've already written letters to our mayor, and one moment, please. Yes, he was the winner at the 2018 Berlin Festival of Lights, and I'm just going to click on images. These are Simon Roland paintings. That's Berlin. Am I correct? Is that Berlin City Hall?
That's how is it called in English? Alte Stadt, Alte Rathaus. It's like the old city hall.
The old town hall?
Yeah, old town hall, yeah.
The old town hall, Ray. The old town hall of Berlin.
Okay. Well, in America, it was City Hall, Town Hall, same thing.
Yeah, it's a massive building there.
Well, I personally have taken it upon myself to see that we have the Simon Roland paintings broadcast right here in Atlanta during World Cup soccer. And I think that would be wonderful. Now, the last time we had a similar, right there on the stage, on that same podium, 63,000. Okay. Ooh, I don't want to tip it over. Now, please remember, I'm not going to move it. Happiness Deep Inside #1 was published, and the edition is sold out. This is one of his earliest prints. You have a chance to own a published original. Wow. That means 220 people approximately will have the print. Only one will have the original. I think it's safe to say I'm $50,000 underbid. So Simon, I know the last time we talked, you were semi-vegetarian. How's that going?
I mean, I'm since 14 years vegetarian.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
You look healthy. You look great.
That's just how it is. I mean, I never think really about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that old joke, and I didn't write it. I'm a vegetarian, but I eat a little beef and pork and, well, chicken.
And it just came to my mind that there's another story which I can share.
Please.
About another message which I got. So last year I had the solo show in Museum Goch in Germany.
Oh, yes.
And I made this forest. Mm-hmm. So it was called Cosmic Raindrops in the Forest of Serenity. And it's a big installation. I think sometimes in between there is a video here.
We are going to show the video of his second museum show.
And so in the middle there is a bench. And so I got a message later of a young man, and he told me that one of his best friends died in his early 20s, and he went to this installation and he was sitting on the bench, and I also played very calm atmospheric music in this cosmic raindrops and forest of serenity. And so he told me that it was the first time, so he died maybe 2 weeks already before, and so he told me that that was a moment where he could really recollect his thoughts, and because he was really confused.
Yes.
And so he wanted to thank me that it really helped him to calm down inside. And there have been so many clients that have told me, and you know, it's so interesting about the art market is that people share their emotion and feelings because of art, and it is very deeply rooted in the human psyche.
And I've never had anybody call me up and say, oh, I feel like punching someone, or I want to go wrestling because I saw a KEF painting. It's the opposite. I feel at ease. I feel calm. I meditate. I've learned to meditate. All right, we need to be moving along, and I am $36,000 under bid. $36,000 under bid.
15,000.
Go ahead, Richard.
Well, we've actually got a very, very nice surprise because this painting just had a baby. There we go. You've got the artist proof, ladies and gentlemen, the artist proof by Simon. He's come all the way from Berlin. Let's give him a big round of applause. Thank you, Simon. The painting just had a baby. There we go. It's an artist proof. It's one of only 25 in the world, ladies and gentlemen, and it's on canvas. So you've got the published original with the actual artist proof. And again, Simon, if you would do a dedication to our top bidder, that would be fantastic. Ray, what a combination. This is literally... the sort of holy grail for art collectors.
Well, it's history in the making.
Yeah.
It is literally history in the making. There are very, very few times for an art collector for like something like this to happen. And it's happening live, it is happening real. You can make a DVD of it. I believe I've coined the phrase digital provenance because, we've been on the air 18 years, and clients like James Zeisser has videotapes going back to 2005. He has DVDs, and James, I want to see them. Did you know on this show I once auctioned off a bazooka? And we had the FBI come in the next day, and we said, we have no bullets. We don't. The ATF. Oh, the ATF, Tony. All right, back to the item at hand. This is history. This is an artist proof. All right, we must move on. Oh, it's 11:34.
Last minute, guys, we're bidding it out. You're getting both. Last minute.
If anything was ever underbid, enough about me. Let's talk about you. Tell us anything.
I also would like to ask the viewers if there are similar stories of what I was just telling. I would be very happy if you would share them to me or to Ray, and for me it's very important to get to hear them, and because it makes me just so happy when people really can interact with my work, or that my work has such a positive impact for some people. So it's very important for me that the world is changing in a positive way.
I think so.
And we need to start small to reach big things.
For me, my motto has always been one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. And,
all right, this last call.
I won't talk about that now, but when I walk in through my front door in my home, the first thing I see is the kitchen, and then right there in the kitchen is your original painting that you gave me as a gift. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to tell everybody, I have one original painting, and it's big. We went out to dinner at least 5 years ago.
Yeah, it must be 5 years.
And I'll remember the name of the restaurant in a moment, an Italian restaurant in Duluth, Georgia, Norcross, and at the end he said, Ray, I'd like to give you a painting. I didn't hint around, and he did. Thank you. I treasure it. It's for sale for $1 million. We'll split it.
Okay, guys, we'll have a quick break, have a drink of water, because we've got an auction going on, and we're bid 19.5 with Jenny's bidder from California at 19.5. 20 bid. 20,000 bid now, 20,000 with Michael. Now, Tony, are we in 1,000 increments from here, or 500s? $1,000 increments from here. 20 is bid with Michael's bidder, also from California, at 20,000. 20,000 now won at 20,000. Remember, you're getting the artist proof with the painting, the artist proof, and it is happiness deep inside. Number one. There's only ever one opportunity to acquire the #1 painting in the series. I've got 20,000 here in the room with Michael. At 20,000, come on, give me one now. At 20,000, 21 with Jenny's bidder from California. At 21, at 21. Who's got the next bid then? At 21, there's 3 of you in it. At 21, 21, I'm bid at 21. At 21, gonna bid at 21, 21 bid. At 21 from California with Jenny. At 21, Michael, don't lose this. Don't lose this, Michael. At 21, you're sure? Give you every opportunity. At 21, 21 is bid. At 21, I sell then. At 21, and it's going. At 21, at 21,000 only, and this is low. At 21, at 21 going once. At 21 going twice. At 21 with Jenny's bidder from the great state of California. The gavel's high. Sold. Well done, you did fantastically well, and we actually had 3 or 4 fantastic bidders, all from California. Amazing. Thank you so much, and to our other bidders as well. Okay, Tony, we're going to bid on this one.
Yeah, we only have a couple of minutes on this, guys.
Only a couple of minutes.
And just because Simon's here, I'm going to do a very special. You're never going to see a price better than this. This is a one-night only price, guys. We have 6 available. Obviously, this one, number 2, is going with the winning bidder.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Thank you.
We're going to do this at $1,000, no buyer's premium, for the artist proof on canvas.
$1,000, no buyer's premium. There are literally 6 available now. Only 6, 5 available. I apologize. 5 available now. It is hand signed. It is the artist proof. It's 1,000. First 5 people in America, and they're gone. I can't guarantee the numbers. Number 1 and number 2 are gone already. 1 went some time ago. Number 2 has gone, and I don't know what's available, but there are 5 available. Then it's sold out, ladies and gentlemen. It is the artist proof, and once again, here is Ray to talk about the piece with our very, very special guest, Simon, Roland, and otherwise known as KEF. Here we go.
On the frame, that's going to be 27 by 36. And once again, they've gone at minimum a $900 frame. And please, as always, I want you to check, because it is the paint, the pigment goes around the edge of what is known as the stretcher bars or the internal frame. And so what they've done is a double frame, or what's called a float mount. You can call it a gallery wrap. The frame is very, very heavy. It is a handmade work of art. And let's go to the certificate. There is no bidding. Happiness Deep Inside, number 1. One of his most famous, all-time great images. And I'm thinking about the TV show Friends. One of Tony's favorite episodes is where George Costanza's father says, "Serenity now!" What he's really looking for is happiness deep inside. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the painting. We are doing a buy it now on the original serigraph. A serigraph is a silk-screened print. Hand signed by the artist lower right. It is an artist proof. Now the one on display is number 2. I don't know which one you're going to get. This is a buy it now. We have 6. It is first come, first serve. I don't know which one you're going to get. There are 5. 1 is gone. We got a lot of people in queue. Okay, it is a buy it now. It is a buy it now.
Ray,
yes.
Actually, Simon, have a little meeting with Ray, because you've got a little surprise for him. And I think you'll like these, Ray.
Well, I was just thinking, they want to hear you talk.
So I just found in my pocket that I have a few stickers left. So I thought maybe we can give a few to the people who are buying today. It's just a little
thank you.
Little extra.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
So I don't have a lot actually of them.
Hold them up. And
And
hold them up. 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 Well, one is gone. I mean, before these even.
Yeah, one is gone.
One is gone.
Yeah, the rest I would like to share with the people from home.
I know how this company works.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of them left, but I'm happy to share.
Okay. You know, I keep thinking that your artwork has such universal appeal. I am going to do whatever I can. I think there should be clothing. This could be a great design on sneakers. The kids wear the bucket hats.
Yeah, maybe in the future at some point there will be a fashion line, maybe. Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts. And also, I'm going to say the obvious. That would be great jewelry. Is there a jeweler watching? I know a jeweler. I'm calling them on Monday. Oh, tomorrow. Oh, in about 17 minutes. No, I'll wait till tomorrow. But I think that'd be wonderful jewelry.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, this kind of ideas are also in my mind. So I'm just waiting for the moment that it really suits to the right time.
Well, I do want you to, you know, I said this to you once before, and it's been coming back to me. I want you to know something. You're the #1 artist on the #1 TV art show in America.
Oh, that's great to
And
hear.
we've looked for similar art shows in Australia, India, China, France, Germany. We can't find any. So you are the #1 artist on the #1 art show in the world. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You've earned it.
And thank you from home.
There's been no shortcut. There's been no one that gave you the $1 million. You earned it. I
Thank
respect
you.
that.
Thank you.
And there was no one there to help you. The day I met you, you were there by yourself at what,
Yeah.
10 o'clock at night?
Yeah. I was, it was all by myself.
Yeah. I respect that. And on your own, you went to China.
Yeah.
And of course, near and dear to my heart, Dali, China. And you made a big mural there.
Yes, yeah, I remember well. I was in Dali. Actually in Dali, I painted on a water tank. And this water tank is next to the Erhai Lake. And it's really, really big lake, and the water tanks are cleaning the water. So I got invited to paint one of those. They are really, really big. And then I was in Liuzhou, it's called the city. I painted there a wall. And then I went to Shanghai, and I painted a rooftop of a fashion magazine. I painted at the rooftop of a fashion magazine. So that was quite cool. And then I went to Hong Kong, and I painted for the Park Lane Hotel.
Park Lane, yes.
The interior they made renovation for the restaurant, and it was on the 27th floor. And I remember that during that time, I painted at night, and there were no worker, and I went outside on the balcony, and I had the whole skyline of Hong Kong in front of me, and when I looked down, there was the river, and behind me there were the mountains. That was a very, very special moment for me.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah, that was back in 2017, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. It's unforgettable.
The one thing I didn't do when I was a cruise ship auctioneer, everyone said, you have to take a cruise ship out of Hong Kong Harbor. But you got a great view. All right, we must move on.
We got one available still, guys. There is one more opportunity.
Let's go.
One more available. Kim's in charge of the phone. So the next person, the last person, if you're very, very quick on the phone, you will get that final one. And let's go.
Go.
Yeah,
go.
I know.
Tony,
I feel evicted. I feel evicted from my podium, ladies and gentlemen. There's one left. Kim's doing a fantastic job, as are all the phone team. Thank you to all the phone team. They worked very, very hard this weekend. They had a lot of phone calls. And ladies and gentlemen, we got something ultra special, not just for the ladies, but the gentlemen love these as well. It is a very, very special.
It is 2024.
It is, and nearly 25. The beautiful hand-painted Louis Vuitton handbag. It is lot 317, and what a fantastic piece this is. It comes in the presentation case, and ladies and gentlemen, here to tell you all about this spectacular piece that was created in 2023 by the artist KEF. He's here in the studio with Ray.
Well, as always, I do want to impress upon people that, you know, I personally had a similar experience like this. In 1985, I moved to Honolulu to work with Images International of Hawaii. And for the next 12 years, every single year, we would go from Hawaii, and it's a 12-hour flight to New York City to go to the Jacob Javits Convention Center for the New York City Art Expo. And I remember in 1988, I walked into the Andy Warhol booth and I saw all the pencil signed prints. They were $1,800. And I was ambivalent. I was like, that's a lot of money. I don't have $1,800. And he saw my exhibitor badge. He goes, I'll give them to you wholesale. Anything you want, $900. And that was a lot of money too, and I didn't do it. Okay. With that in mind, I would love to own this. Now, Simon, is this like a computer applique? Did you paint this?
I painted this. Yeah, this is hand painted on Louis Vuitton bag.
In the bottom right, is that your signature?
Yes, that's my signature. Yeah, and so I just did a few of these hand painted handbags yet. I always wanted to put my work on fashionable things.
Sure.
Even though I'm more minimalist. Yeah, but now here's one of those rare hand-painted handbags.
Okay. He's not kidding about the minimalism. Show me your watch. No, just... That's a $10,000 Casio.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
So when he says minimalism, I don't think he's kidding. Now, of course, the winning bidder.
Yeah.
And that will come with it. That is the original bag. So I hope I didn't embarrass you. But
No, it's fine. I mean, I like the basic Casio watch. Simple. Undestroyable.
They make a Casio watch now that has the original video game Space Invaders.
Inside the watch?
Yeah, you press it and it goes.
Oh, really?
That's your Christmas present. Let me see if I can get one. Any bid? I've seen Balenciaga bags at $38,000. I think the bidding's a little modest on this. Oh, the other thing I like is detail. If we could come up right here on the quality of those metal rings, and then I'll slowly turn it. Beautiful craftsmanship. And you've heard Simon talk about a 95% purity. This is flawless. I do not see a brushstroke out of place.
And I would like to add as well that this is varnished. So the paint is protected by a transparent, of course, transparent varnish protection. Yeah.
So if a lady was out and about, or a gentleman these days, you see that all over Europe and more in America. If a little bit of rain, it wouldn't hurt it.
I still would not really put it like in strong rain, for example, but yeah, I think for evenings where you would like to carry something a bit different with you, it's no problem. It will hold.
Now we have 8 minutes left in the show. Is this the very last Louis Vuitton bag? I don't see it. This is it. This is it.
16. And guys, I looked up these Louis Vuitton purses, and these go for about $10,000 to $15,000 for just the purse. Like
Yeah. Well, I know there are people that collect Louis Vuitton just for the sake of Louis Vuitton, but now with the collaboration, I'm thinking of the same thing when I saw the collaboration of Porsche, when you did the first all-electric Porsche. And again, this is history. This is one. We don't have another one. The quality is superb. And to me, as I like Louis Vuitton, but for me, the importance, the value of this is as a work of art. And throughout history, I mean, if you look at, I was just thinking of Shepard Fairey. He did graffiti on a abandoned, dilapidated telephone booth. Now, we don't really have telephone booths anymore. You put in a coin and, you dial like this. That sold for $80,000.
Wow.
And all he did was put graffiti on it with an aerosol.
They sold the whole booth?
Well, it was just a metal pole with a little box and a phone. But it had Shepard Fairey graffiti. I'll show you after the show.
Okay.
I showed it on the show tonight. And that went for $80,000. This is superlative of the highest quality. $20,000. And yes, the case does come, right?
Yeah.
So it is a beautiful presentation case.
I'm going to keep the empty case and wish that I had.
You're going to put your Hot Wheels collection in there?
Oh yeah, I want to walk around with that on my arm. Simon, did you keep one for yourself?
Of the bags? No, I'm not so much into carrying a handbag, but yeah, as I say yesterday as well, there are actually, I think in the US, between the rappers, right? It's like a trend to carry the cash in the handbag.
Oh, who's the boxer? Who's the boxer that walks around with $1 million? What could go wrong? Oh, he does? Oh, well, I didn't think of that.
I like that it's closed on the bottom here.
Yes. Well, okay, this week, what are you doing tomorrow? What's your plans?
Tomorrow I'm flying to Florida. Yeah. And I have to finish some things there.
Good.
And then I'm spending Thanksgiving actually in the US. I mean, we don't have Thanksgiving obviously in Europe.
Sure.
But I'm spending it with friends and I think in the US it's a very, very big celebration day,
Yes,
right?
yes. And of course, and it is part of, I would say, every religion, you should reflect and give thanks. I do every day. I just on a personal note, I pray at least 4 to 5 times a day, and primarily I give thanks.
That's great.
Like you, I had very humble beginnings.
I mean, for me, actually, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing is that I'm saying to myself that I'm just so grateful to have a new day.
Yes.
Because we never know, right, if we wake up tomorrow or not. So I think we need to be thankful for every single day we have.
First thing I do, I wake up, and the last thing I do before I go to bed, and I'm just grateful because I know what it's like to not have bounty. I'll just put it that way. And yeah. Well, we've got, there it is, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the show. If you were ever going to bid, turn on the DVR, become a part of history. Now, when are you coming back?
I'm not sure yet. I mean, definitely. I mean, May to the studio, you mean?
Yeah, it's right here.
I'm not sure.
I think we need to go see him.
Exactly.
Now the boy's a genius.
Right. Very quickly, why don't you just say about the first time you met at the Paris Salon? That would be interesting.
Okay, we have 2 minutes left. 5 years ago at the Paris Salon, we'd been on our feet all day and videotaping and going through, and I had just sat down, and Orban Huchet's wife Ruth called and said, there's a young artist who came all the way from Berlin to see you. And so I put my shoes back on, I went downstairs, and Simon was in the lobby. And the second I looked at his art, I thought to myself, oh, he made them on a computer. How do I let him down easy? And I said to you, did you make these on the computer? And he goes, no. He goes, it was like I hurt his feelings. He goes, no, I painted these. And I said, sure. I've got my jeweler's loop right there. I have time. I'm going to run over and get it because I have been carrying this thing for, I think, 27 years. Here it is right here. And I'm like, he goes, no, I painted this. I take this jeweler's loop, and I go, sure you did, kid. And I go, oh, those are original brushstrokes. And I knew. At that moment, I knew. At that moment, yeah, I knew you were destined for greatness.
How old is this?
27 years? I don't even know.
So
no, wait, I had it. I bought it in 1997 when I first became an auctioneer.
1997. So it's 10 years older than 1997. so it's a little younger than me.
Oh gosh. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ray Taylor, and what a great honor to have Simon Roland here live in our studio. If you have any questions, let me know. We'd love to hear your stories about your interaction with his paintings. And I will say this, it makes my home a better place.
Thank you.
Glad
That's nice
I
to
have
hear.
your prints too. We broadcast every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and only here on America's Value Channel. If you have any questions, let me know your art stories. I'm on Facebook, Ray Taylor. You know something? Thank you again, Simon.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Well, hello, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to the show. It is the Fine Art Auction, and welcome to the Auction Gallery.
And the way we put it together gives you a great opportunity to actually get them all. It's the best of the best. The silver proof Ikes.
What a great collection. What a great show. What a great night. My name's Ray Taylor, and I'll see you at the auction.